Chicago. What do you say? It's a CHGO Cubs podcast presented by DraftKings, America's top-rated sportsbook. Download the app. Use the promo code CHGO when you sign up. This was the worst loss of the season. Luke Stuckmeyer, Ryan Herrera, Cody Del Mendo. Cubs led 6-1, trying to avoid a sweep in Houston. It did not happen. Instead, they blew it, lose 7-6, led 6-3 entering the ninth inning.
That's 6-1 entering the eighth.
6-1 entering the eighth. Their fifth straight loss. Thanks to everyone in the chat who's already here. 13 likes. We appreciate that. Appreciate everybody that's watching in the chat. Has anybody vomited yet? Because that was a tough one to swallow. We'll let Cody start. It's his birthday, and if you can imagine, the last 30 minutes has been him walking around over there by the couch saying, "Don't do this on my birthday, bro."
He actually said,
"Not on my birthday, bro. Don't do this on my birthday."
He actually also said, "I'm not ready to be hurt again," for the first time ever.
Not on my birthday, bro. Over and over.
I
apologize, but that's what happened.
Listening to Luke say "bro" is making me feel a little bit better. Dude,
that was the goal, bro.
I don't even know what to say. Like, I got to shut the computer. None of this shit matters. It took 3 pitches for Keegan Thompson to give up a 2-run shot, 9 pitches to put the tying run on first base. As his biggest supporter, I mean, it was not great. I think Sharma from The Athletic had a good tweet. This year he's got a 15% walk rate, strikeout rate around 17. And you're using him in the ninth inning, and I know a lot of people wanted to see Thompson in the ninth inning early in the year, especially in April. He was getting away with some hard contact. There were some hitters you saw where you felt like, this guy he carried over what he did last year into this year. And then he had a couple rough outings in a row, and I felt like there was a get right appearance that he had. On Sunday, he pitched 2 innings against the Twins. It was a mop-up duty, basically. And, I think he was the only good reliever on Sunday, actually. I'm pretty sure. He didn't give up any runs. And then you bring him in tonight. He had the bottom of the order. So maybe, given the circumstances, maybe that's why they used him. They used Leiter in the 8th inning. He gave up a couple runs. I don't know, man. Listen, everyone knows I've defended the bullpen because, like Ryan has always said, bullpens give up runs. You got to score runs to win games, right?
They left 14 guys on base.
But tonight, for sure, is on the bullpen.
You
score 6 runs and you lose in the 9th inning when you led by 3. That is on your bullpen. There's no doubt about it. That was probably the worst appearance I've seen from Keegan Thompson out of the bullpen ever. Literally ever. And, I mean, he didn't even throw 10 pitches. And everything went to shit. So, I don't know. I was high on this bullpen coming in this year because of him. I thought he could be one of those guys you could definitely rely on. But, I mean, it's definitely falling apart. I keep using the joke, not all mayors are perfect, but it's becoming an alarming thing. And so I don't know what really to be more mad about, because also I saw another tweet from our friends at Bleacher Nation. Brett Taylor tweeted, the Cubs left 14 on base tonight. You score 6 runs, you should still be able to win the game against any team. If you score 6 runs,
they could have had 8 or 9 runs.
True. You score 6 runs and you get the outing that you got out of Drew Smyly tonight, though.
3 homers.
You gotta win the game. That's the bottom line. You gotta win the game. And to bring it back around, the last few years, despite how bad last year was, despite how the 2021 season went, even the 2020 season, if you really look into it, the Cubs have been building their bullpen through within, and they've found some guys out of their own system to be able to come up and be productive. Keegan Thompson was one of them last year. Mark Leiter Jr., we all wanted him to be DFA'd as a starter, and he's turned into a really solid reliever. Adbert Alzolay, starter converted reliever. There's a handful of guys that we've seen come and like turn into very reliable relievers. Do I think the Cubs have a bullpen problem? Right now they do. Will it get right? I sure as hell hope so, because history says that they will figure it out. But they couldn't afford a loss tonight. They could not when you get up 6-1.
Not on Cody's birthday.
And not on my goddamn birthday, bro. Like, what the fuck? God, this is one you definitely look back at the end of the year and you're like, if they are in it, 5 games under 500 now, if they are playing meaningful games in September and don't make the playoffs, if Collada, I know you're in the chat. Let me keep believing. Let me keep believing that it could happen. All right, not on my birthday. You're not gonna tell me that I can't believe on my birthday. If they're playing meaningful games in September and they miss the playoffs, this is a game you absolutely remember, and it will only hurt worse. So, thanks, Cubs. I appreciate you. I will now go home and I will wonder why, when I grew up in the middle of Central Illinois, why did I become a Cubs fan and not a Cardinals fan like the rest of everyone else? Because this is the kind of shit that just
that takes you low. He's low tonight.
This is the kind of shit that makes me miserable, bro. This is probably the worst loss since 2019 at the end of the year when the Cardinals came into Wrigley and the Cubs were, I think that at the end of the losing streak, they had lost 9 in a row to just completely miss the playoffs. I think back-to-back homers off, I don't even remember. You just remember that losing streak at the end of 2019 to basically miss the playoffs. That's how I feel right now. And it's May 17th. Like this, I don't think we've experienced a worse loss because last year, no expectations. There were bad losses. There were dumb losses. There was a lot of pain, but nothing like this. We have gotten up for this team, all right? A little bit at least. And then in 2021, maybe some of those games during that losing streak before the trade deadline, maybe. But I still feel like there's no worse loss. This is the first loss that I felt like this since probably during that losing streak at the end of 2019.
Ravi calling it a catastrophic loss. Just watching the chat as you were explaining your frustration, I think the chat feels the same frustration. I'm wondering if anybody out there has faith left. I know it's only a 5-game losing streak, but if you zoom out further, it's been a longer stretch of struggling. And based on tonight's chat, and I know that's the immediate reaction after you blow a 6-1 lead. But boy, a lot of people saying stock up, stock down. It's trade deadline. This team's not going to the playoffs. They have no shot. Fire Ross. I mean, I knew to be angry, but I don't even see anybody. Like Nick G says, 0. Here's a super chat. How the hell are we playing like the Sox? This is bad. From? What the hell's going wrong with this team? You got another super chat up there, Joey.
That's from Knight.
I missed the name on that one, Joey.
Knight 6776. There's another one up higher.
We suck like the Reds now. Like Cap said, bring in Chapman. Our bullpen sucks. This season's going downhill. We are a fluke. All caps.
From UC 4 days. UC 4 days.
UC for days?
UC for
So it
days.
looks like.
Shout out to the super chats.
Yeah, thank you for the super chats.
Send the super chats
for Cody's birthday.
For my birthday, and also just to
give a thumbs up for Cody's birthday.
If you want to vent, you want us to read your comment for venting. I'm sure there's plenty of them. We can't read them all, but we'll try and read as many as you can if you super chat.
I saw Vanilla Chill say the left on base is bailing out the bullpen. No. This is on the bullpen. I'm just saying they did have opportunities to to put their foot down on the Astros and end it, so it never got to this point. But it's on the bullpen.
The way the game was going, Seiya Suzuki hits those 2 homers, and did I cut you off? I'm sorry.
Luke cut me off first.
Oh,
I would just like to talk.
They were up 6-1, and you just like the way Drew Smyly was pitching. I can't believe they lost that game. Like it's unbelievable. Sorry again. Go ahead.
The way I look at it is, and I keep seeing Fire Hotovy going up and down the chat, and that blows my mind because that doesn't make any sense to me. The bullpen specifically, and like you've said a lot, Cody. You said all off season, Like, you're not worried about the bullpen. I think we all kind of felt that way. Like, you're not worried about the bullpen because the last however many years, Cubs kind of slapped the bullpen together and did really well. And maybe that got people maybe that spoiled everyone a little bit. Like, they got, Craig Kimbrell was awesome. He's a Hall of Fame closer, but, like, that 2021 season, he really picked it up. Ryan Tepera showed out. Andrew Chafin was awesome. Like, even last season, David Robertson was lights out for most of it. Chris Martin was awesome. Even Michael Givens was pretty good for a lot of it. Like, you felt like they could, like, you didn't have to worry about the bullpen because they would find some good veterans that come in and pitch the lights out, or for the most part, and some of these young guys would step up a little bit, and that's what, because that's what happened the last few years. Like, you felt like, if nothing else, you could count on that. And then, but I guess the point is that at some point, doing that may not work. If you don't have guys with, like, recent track record of success, and not that, like, Michael Fulmer was a probably above average reliever with the Tigers, but it's not like he's like an all-star reliever or was, like, really good for a really long time at it. I mean, Brad Boxberger was solid, if not a little bit better than that, but he's also still, like, not, like, he wasn't a Devin Williams type or a Josh Hader type, obviously, on the Brewers. Like, at some point when you don't have those late inning, like, set it and forget it type relievers where you can count on them to go out, and if they blow a lead, like, then you really feel surprised. If you don't have those kind of relievers, that's what makes bullpens volatile, because there aren't that many relievers, if we're being honest. Like, not every team has that, but that's why bullpens are so volatile, and that's why they're so up and down. And you finally get to a season where the veterans they brought in aren't pitching that well. I mean, Brad Boxberger's on the IL right now. Everyone hated Michael Fulmer after Monday, even though he'd been relatively good the first. I mean, I know he got hit on Sunday too, but before that had a few good outings leading up to it. But those two aren't what Craig Kimbrell was. They're not what David Robertson was. They're not even really what Chris Martin was, or any of those other veteran guys. So they bring them in. They're not pitching that well. Well, then you mix in Keegan Thompson, who's not pitching as well as he did last year. You mix in, Mark Leiter Jr. is really good, but he's also really, really good against lefties, which the pocket in the 8th inning obviously set up more for him than the 9th inning. You have Michael Rucker, who's actually pitched a lot better than maybe we counted on, but he's not like one of those veteran relievers. Put him in the late innings and let him go. Jeremiah Stroud. I mean, I'm throwing out names because I know Nick Birdie pitched yesterday.
Well,
so
Hughes has been hurt. I don't think you mentioned Hughes. Hughes has a knee injury.
Just came off the IL.
And it's not going away. It's something he's trying to pitch through.
So he just came off the IL. Adbert, he's been good, but I don't know that he's the closer yet. But he pitched in an inning, clean inning, whatever. You can argue that David Ross shouldn't have taken Smyly out. Like, I don't think that's a terrible argument, but
he had like 70-some pitches.
84, I think it was. But it was,
What a nice message here from Michael Collada.
Well, so let me just kind of wrap this up real quick. When you have all that and you have a bunch of guys you just don't know about every time out, like, there's guys, even Adbert, like, it's not like he's not one of those guys where you put him out there and for sure he's going to lock it down and you're surprised when he doesn't. Like, he'll have a bad outing or two. He can't, because that Adbert's still relatively getting into it just because of he missed all of last season. He came up late in the 2020 season, so he's still not like the most experienced reliever. So you have a bullpen full of guys that can be good on some days, but will also be not great the next time out. Like, that'll happen, and it seems like today, Mark Leiter Jr., even, who's been really good, one of your best bullpen guys, gives up 2 runs. Keegan, who was really, really good last year but has struggled this year, gives up 2 more runs and a guy, and I think he got 2 guys on, or 1 guy on by the time we took him out. I think the next guy might have got on by the time Ross came out to take him out.
Take out Thompson?
Keegan.
No,
the next guy got on, and that was it, right?
Yeah, he walked the next guy on 4 pitches.
Yeah. So when you have that,
or it might have not been 4 pitches, but whatever.
When you have that and you don't have the guys that you're going to go out in your 8th or 9th inning every single game, and you don't worry about it, that's just going to happen with bullpens. And you saw it tonight, and you've seen it with the bullpen multiple times this year. And that's what, like, David Ross is working with, and it's a tough position because he doesn't have those set I think he still doesn't have set roles for a lot of guys because of their volatility, and that's what this bullpen is right now.
We had 2 homers from Seiya in this game. You had Morel hit a home run. You had Smyly, like Cody said, have a great start. I heard Boog on the radio on the way in here today talking about this stretch of bad baseball from the Cubs. And he was saying, listen, what you're going to go back and look at, you haven't lost all faith, but what you're going to go back and look at is the games against the Marlins and the Nationals and say, possibly at the end of the season, we had to be better in those 6 games than that. You are playing the Astros here, but you know what? What he said is no longer valid tonight because you had this game won. I'm not saying like the whole idea of what he said is gone, but now when you zoom out and you look at the whole thing, this is the exclamation point on the bad baseball. This is the game that has the chat with 300 people almost in here after a loss on a weeknight going, what the hell's going on?
Yeah.
Right? This is the one that you will remember even more so now than the Nationals and the Marlins. But that's why you had to win some of those games.
Yeah.
Because games like this crush your soul.
Yeah. I don't even know like who should even get the opportunity to close outside of ALLCITY.
ALLCITY, period.
ALLCITY is the only one who has, he's had some rough moments, but he's definitely been a lot more reliable. And I'm not even really out on Hughes either. You brought him in such a tough situation.
Estrada?
Hughes.
Would you throw? I'm saying, would you throw Estrada there yet?
And I would. He's getting there.
I think he'd be my second choice.
Honestly,
to be honest
yeah,
with you.
he'd probably be my second choice just because of the swing and miss probability. But I'm not out on Hughes just because you brought him in such a tough situation. And Ryan, you mentioned experience and all that. Hughes was closing games for the Cubs last year in the second half. So
he's also off the IL kind of thing.
Yeah. So yeah, maybe not like I don't know. Either way, those are probably the 3 that I think you have to. Those are probably the 3 that you have to go with right now. I wish Nick Birdie would have had a better appearance in yesterday because I love the stuff, I love the story, but clearly he didn't have a good day, and like there's no confidence in that. But yeah, man, I think they closed the game out with Leiter against the Twins too. So, but the thing is right now there's just been a lot of ups and downs with the guys in the middle relief too. I mean, Fulmer hasn't been good. We were complaining about him 2 days ago, and the fact of using him whenever he had pitched 2 straight days. You mentioned Rucker. He's had a few rough outings. Like the bullpen right now is pitching worse than I think I even thought like the lowest of lows for this bullpen this year. Like I knew that there would be some low points for the bullpen because bullpens give up runs, like you said.
Especially when it's a bunch of it's a slap together bullpen, really.
Right.
Like
so like
for lack of a better term. It's a
patchwork.
I knew that there would be some rough moments. But I didn't expect this. And I think what Sharma said in his tweet, at the end he said, the Cubs need Keegan Thompson to get right because he is the guy. Not necessarily the closer, but he is like the X factor of the bullpen because he has the ability to go multiple innings. He, last year he showed that coming out of the bullpen, higher velo, higher strikeout rates against hitters and all this stuff. I don't know what it is, but he's got to get right. And I want to have belief in him. I want to have faith in him. He's shown it. He literally has shown it to us.
He was great last year.
And so they have to find a way to get him right. I don't know how they're going to do it, whether that's a fake IL stint, send him to Iowa to work on his confidence and work on some things and call up one of these other young dudes. I don't know. I really don't know what they got to do, but they need to get him right. If this bullpen is going to be where I think it could have been back in April when we were predicting the season, he's got to get right.
Yeah.
To me, that's the biggest thing for this bullpen. So for the time being, yeah, I think ALLCITY's got to be that guy in the 9th inning, and Estrada's got to get a couple more high leverage chances. And I think Hughes is going to come together a little bit just because we've talked about how the Cubs have missed him. I'm not going to put a lot of blame on him tonight, considering he just came into such a shitty situation. He came in with a runner on first base already after they hit a 2-run bomb with
the top of the order coming up.
With the top of the order coming up, like the fact that he got Alvarez to ground into the ground out to Mastrobuoni with the infield in was unreal. And then Kyle Tucker, honestly, the pitch that Hughes threw, I didn't even think it was that bad of a pitch. He's just a great hitter. So, again, I'm not saying you don't criticize Hughes there, but it was a really bad situation. You'd rather him come in with no one on base. Obviously, they had to leave Thompson in for one more hitter because that's the rule. They have to face 3 batters. So that's why Thompson stayed in after he gave up the home run. And also the fact that he had only thrown 3 pitches after he gave up that home run, which is just unreal to me. So, yeah, man, this sucks. I don't have any words to say. This is as bad as the Cubs have played all year. You got everything you needed to win a game tonight. Smyly pitched well. Morel got a walk tonight. We just talked about yesterday about how his strikeout rate was too high.
And we have that.
You get Seiya Suzuki to hit 2 home runs. Everyone in the chat calling him a bust the last month. And you had Miles Mastrobuoni walked 3 freaking times. Like you had a great night. The Cubs offensively had a great night. Yeah, they left 14 on base. I'm not going to complain about that, though, because you got 6 runs. You scored 6 runs and led 6-1. You got an incredible start out of Drew Smyly. You got to win that game. You should have won the game, and your bullpen gave it up, man. It sucks, dude. Worst birthday ever.
First of all, Mervis was called up to try and spark the team. Then Morel was called up to try and spark. Like, you could see it going, the snowball starting to go downhill. You started to see roster moves like, oh, we got to do something to shake this up. I have seen a ton, obviously, tonight, but anytime they lose, you see fire Ross. Tonight, a lot of it. I don't know what has to be. I don't know what they can do to try and shake up what is starting to very clearly reveal itself to be a flawed roster. I don't know what the next move is. If you would have told me at the beginning of the season that Wesneski was going to go down to AAA and that Keegan was going to struggle in the bullpen, I would have said, you're crazy. Maybe one of the two, but not both, because it was just too promising last year and for Wesneski the end of last year. I don't know. Nico Horner coming back on Friday is not enough to turn this thing around. Man. You hope it's some sort of spark. You hope Bellinger and Horner coming back is something, but that's not going to fix the bullpen.
You think if Bellinger's in center tonight, he's able to throw out?
Well, there might be a better throw. I can't say that the throw was bad because the camera work didn't really show it. You saw it bouncing a couple times. I don't understand he wasn't deep. Morel wasn't super deep in center. I don't know it looked like he fielded it cleanly, but then when they cut to the plate, it was like, when is the ball coming? When is the ball coming? Did he double clutch?
Yeah.
Did it just feel like an eternity? I mean, obviously, yes. Again, this is not blaming the game on Christopher Morel. He had a walk. He had a home run. Yes, he did kick that ball in center field, but that's a conversation coming up for the second segment. I just don't know what the spark is that they can get. I hope it's Nico Horner, but that can't fix the pitching problems right now.
It's one of those things I think we've talked about, like when the whole Mervis and Morel thing, like bring them up, when all that stuff was going on. It's because those are some of the levers you can pull, right? A way to try to spark the team, get inject some youth and guys that are playing really well at AAA. Like you do that, you pull a lever, and Mervis hasn't had the great start that people hoped for, right? Morel obviously has. And it's nothing against those two. I'm just saying, using them as examples, but it's like you start pulling all the levers you can. Like Nico Horner coming back off the IL is like another lever you pull. Bellinger, if he's not going on the IL, those are all levers you're pulling to try to, switch something up and change something or give yourself a boost. And when you start running out of levers, it kind of gets to a point where it's like, what? Yeah, like you said, what are they supposed to do now? Like Morel's having a great start to his season, even though he's striking out a lot. Again, when he's hitting the ball, it's pretty good. And, that spark hasn't really led to much. Like bringing up Mervis hasn't led to much. They're still losing games, close games. They got blown out in Minnesota. they're still losing games at the end of the day. So whatever levers you pull, if they're not leading to wins, then you start to question the Ross. Obviously, you question David Ross because that's the whole chat is questioning David Ross.
Well, it's the easiest thing to do in baseball. I'm not saying there aren't reasons to do it,
but I'm saying what I'm saying is the scapegoat, not a scapegoat, but like there are legitimate reasons to question some of the things he's done, but there's also reasons to question like why is this roster not executing? What is this roster? Is it did Jed Hoyer just put together a too flawed of a roster that when the offense gives you 6 runs, Smyly gives you a great start, but then the bullpen doesn't work. And then because you've seen that. I think there's been plenty of games where even 2 of the 3 phases of the game have been good, but then that one that isn't is what costs you a game. Like you can have great starting pitching in a bullpen, and the offense doesn't give you anything. You might have solid offense, but then your starting pitcher gives you like 7 runs or something like that, right?
Yeah.
So you've seen it throughout since they started losing all these games that at least one of those gears is not working right. They put together a few overall good games, but not enough that now they're losing a lot of games, and you're seeing the flaws.
Yeah, right now it feels like an old car going down the highway. The transmission needed to be replaced. You got that fixed. Now one wheel's falling off. The windshield wiper's not working. It sounds like it's just barely making it down the road right now.
Yeah. For the sake of practice, though, I guess my one David Ross criticism of managing the bullpen tonight is Leiter's been your best arm. They used him to close against the Twins last Friday. Why not use him in the 9th inning again? Now, why? I don't know.
Want me to explain to you why?
Sure.
Because you had Yordan Alvarez and Kyle Tucker coming up 3rd and 4th in the 8th inning.
And he struck those guys out.
You had, I think, 4 righties coming up to start the 9th inning.
Okay.
That's why.
Well, why not use Brandon Hughes in the 8th then?
He's coming off an injury. He hasn't pitched that great this year, and he's coming off an injury.
I understand he went with his best arm with the best
point.
players in the lineup coming up. I understand it. Okay.
No Carm, not an Oldsmobile.
So that's another way where I'm like, I understand criticism for some of the decisions. That's not one I'm criticizing because that's the spot you use Mark Leiter Jr.
Okay.
So when people are criticizing that one, it's like, no, that's not the one to criticize. There are plenty of them that you can you can second guess, you can first guess with Ross. I don't even second guess that one because that's the spot you use Mark Leiter Jr.
I agree.
All right. We'll go to break. We got more complaining to do here in a minute. But one thing we'll never complain about is the ComEd Energy Efficiency Program.
Oh, no, never.
Right, Cody?
Oh, yeah. The ComEd Energy Efficiency Program is committed to helping families and businesses in the communities they serve, helping manage energy usage and lower energy bills now into the future.
ComEd offers a wide variety of incentives on lighting and other efficiency upgrades to commercial, industrial, and public sector customers of all sizes across the territory. ComEd also offers free facility assessments that can help find energy-saving opportunities, like for HVAC systems, commercial kitchen equipment, and industrial processes.
Oh, Luke, of all things I could be wondering about right now, this is it. How does it work?
This would be the birthday present you'd never turn down, Cody. An authorized engineer will work with you to develop a detailed assessment plan specific to your goals and needs. They can be done in person or virtually, last about 2 hours. Then within 3 to 4 weeks, customers will receive a report detailing energy efficiency projects they can start working on right away. Each recommendation will include estimated energy savings, cost savings, project cost, potential incentives, and simple payback. If you own a business, don't wait. Get started saving money and energy today. For energy saving tips, lighting incentives, or to schedule your free facility assessment, go to ComEd.com/poweringbiz.
Oh, ComEd.com/poweringbiz, Luke?
That's it, Cody. Schedule it today.
I'm going to put my Shady Rays on when I look at the box score tomorrow.
That's right.
Yeah, considering there's an off day tomorrow, I guess.
It's just you're gonna
have to.
This is even worse.
Listen, Cody tried to stop the streak. He wore
sweats today. He wore pants today.
There's no shorts. He did everything he could on his birthday to stop the streak. Wore the lucky green Jays.
Yeah. So if you're feeling bad today, you need to hide the tears. Put on your Shady Rays. Take on the sun with gear built to last. Our friends at Shady Rays have you covered for the warm weather ahead with premium polarized shades at an affordable price. Shady Rays is an independent sunglasses company that offers a world-class product that's just as good as any expensive pair that we've worn. Durable frames and extremely clear optics for outdoor adventures. That's what you get with Shady Rays. And that's not all. Shady Rays offers the most insane protection program in all of eyewear. Every pair of sunglasses is backed by lost and broken replacements. If you lose or break your pair, even on day one, They told us they will send you a brand new pair, no questions asked. You wear your Shady Rays with confidence because they have your back long after you purchase. Together with their customers, Shady Rays is providing much-needed support to nonprofit partners across the U.S. through Shady Rays Impact, from building play sets for pediatric cancer patients to providing young adults with MS the outdoor adventure of a lifetime. Shady Rays is making an impact in your community and others like it now and for years to come. If you don't love your Shady Rays, exchange for a new pair or return them for free within 30 days. There's no risk when you shop. Their team always has your back. And exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the season. Go to shadyrays.com and use code CHGO for 50% off 2+ pairs of polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 250,000 people.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean, Shady Rays are great.
Shady Rays, baby.
I hope we need Shady Rays for vibes at some point this season.
You want to hear about vibes? All right. You mentioned the shoes. Like I really wore I wore the lucky green ones today. I'm wearing the obvious shirts.
Pants
120. I wore pants for all you people in the chat who like to judge my legs.
We got 230 people here too, by the way.
I appreciate everyone.
Not judging
still
your
hanging
legs.
in there.
Not judging your legs.
30 minutes in.
I admittedly, on repeat, blasted Levels by Vici the entire scooter ride here. Just repeat over and over. 6.5 miles through this city to this office tonight because I just was like, we need the best vibes we can have to freaking win a baseball game tonight. And that didn't even work. So,
remember the days when you used to chug beers on this show and Matt Peck would come over and sing Creed with you?
Oh, man.
And my favorite part of those days
that seems like 4 or 5 years ago now.
Seems like a long time ago, doesn't it?
My favorite part of that was you could look at those as the good old days, and sometimes you just don't know. You never know when the good old days are done. You know
What's
what I mean?
the quote?
What's the quote from The Office? You know what I'm saying.
I wish we knew we were in the good old days before we actually left them.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you, Andy Bernard.
Said Andy Bernard.
My favorite part of that was
speaking of the good old days.
Just the good old days.
Now, May 17th used to be a special day in our hearts. Now, moving forward, it will have an asterisk next to it because
of course
now we'll never be able to forget this.
Speaking of an asterisk, of course it's because of the Astros.
Joey, a lot has happened on this day, on and off the field, in CHGO history and Cubs baseball history. Mm-hmm. May 17th, 17 de Mayo, I believe, as they say in Spanish.
Yeah.
A year ago today was the first time we saw Patrick Wisdom unveil his big knob to the world. The big knob bat. Yep. It was also the first home run.
Brendan actually was the one that discovered it. So shout out Brendan.
It was also the first career home run for Christopher Morel, who also homered on the anniversary today. Yep. Now, also a year ago today, or tonight, I should say, off the field, some stuff happened as well. We had Cody's birthday, which was a big day. We had a big piñata that Cody tried to attack with a bat, ended up taking a chunk out of a wall.
The chunk is still
And,
there.
Of course, we all know it as the birth of Delmetrics.
The birth of Delmetrics.
Delmetrics are not reading a high vibe tonight. They're a much lower reading. The Delmetric meter is a much lower reading tonight than it was a year ago.
The V war, the vibe war.
The vibe war is much lower.
It's in the negatives right now.
The Delmetrics haven't been high since Brennan left Chicago.
That's true.
Straight up. The Cubs haven't won since Brennan left.
Isn't that what we said? Like, he's got... I don't know if they did or not, but didn't we say, like, because they did win that game, like, he can't leave? Yeah. Wasn't that our rule? And
that was our rule,
anyway.
and then he left.
Crazy.
Yeah.
You mean...
Gary's really hammering the chat right now. Gary's really firing away. Is Gary taking over the chat?
Looks like it.
I don't know. Is he?
No.
Close?
So what there's two Garys.
Oh, there are two Garys.
And they're both the blue G. So it's very confusing.
Gary. I know. All I see is G.
It's Gary Tomas and Gary Ross going back and forth in the comments here, but it is two different Garys.
And then every once in a while, Carm trying to keep our spirits up.
I'd love to, go dive really deep into the bit of Delmetrics tonight, but
it just doesn't feel the same.
It just doesn't feel the same. I mean, God, you know what's even worse is that my guy, Keegan Thompson, is the reason for this.
The mayor.
Like, Like, what did I do to the baseball gods? What did I do to like do I need to like?
It started before him though. Let's be honest. Like, it was 6-1.
Yeah.
The collapse happened before. I'm not saying Keegan didn't have a big role in it. He was, 10 pitches and it went downhill fast. But like, that inning started. When the inning started, you said, "Not on my birthday, bro." You were ready. Before he threw a pitch, you were feeling it. Not because Keegan was in. You were feeling it because you saw the inning before.
Yeah.
And you saw the left on base.
Yeah.
You saw the opportunities.
The Cubs, I think they had a couple runners on base in the 9th inning, and I think Mervis was the one who was unable to drive one in or whatever to get the final out.
That first and second.
Barb, this is live.
Dansby struck out.
Just brutal. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what else to really say about this game itself, but
They could go to the positives. Yeah, I was going to say.
There were multiple
Drew
positives.
Smyly.
That's why it's so frustrating because Drew Smyly was great. 6 innings, 1 earned run, 8 strikeouts, struck out Yordan Alvarez twice.
Mm-hmm.
We got a gif of him now saying, "Fuck yeah."
That was great. That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
He gave up that run, and then after that, it was...
Ian Happ throwing out Bregman at home. At
Nice
the time,
play.
it was a big moment in terms of holding them.
Yeah, that was huge. And Smyly, his knuckle curve was crazy today. 12 whiffs on 24 swings, 50%.
Yeah.
Morel's home run, the 6th player in Cubs history since at least 1901, with, was it 5 home runs in his first 8 games of a season?
By the way, I realized that I was searching Gary's comment in the chat, which is why I was showing all of the
just
Garys.
2 Garys? I thought
that is why.
Joey, I'm like...
So that's why people in the chat say, "I don't see
That's,
Gary."
yeah, because that's why everybody's like, "Where the hell is Gary?" It's because I had
got
G
Joey'd on
up
that
in
one,
the
let me
search
tell you.
bar. I had G up in the search bar, so it was only showing people's names with G.
Yeah,
Taking
Morel.
receipts on
Seiya,
that, Joey.
I think one of the biggest, I mean, obviously Seiya hit 2 home runs today, but like that's considering the slow start he had and the all weekend, maybe even early in the week, like Seiya is a bust, horrible mistake signing him, blah, blah, blah. It's good to see Seiya have a game like today. Like he had the home run yesterday, which is great.
And they did it against a pitcher who has had success.
Yeah. So to see him have the day
He shut down
had,
the White Sox like a week ago.
To see him have the day he had is good for obviously his own confidence and his production. But it's good to like everyone to see just like, yes, Seiya's a good player. And again, like just a reminder that he didn't have a spring training. He had an oblique injury. He had minimal rehab assignment games. Like he really is only, if you really think about it, maybe like 3 to 4-ish weeks into his season. And he's starting to find his stride, and it's good to see because, yeah, the Cubs did invest a lot of money into him, and they need, like Jordan Burnfield said it when he was on the show yesterday, last week, that Seiya just got to be better because he's getting paid so much money. He's got to be that guy. He's got to be better. And this, honestly, this series was a better showing of Seiya.
Seiya,
He's
absolutely.
been way better.
Absolutely, he is the DraftKings king of the night, right? I mean, you couldn't have a better game. 3 for 3, 2 homers, a single, and 2 walks.
Yeah, and you didn't take him for who you got.
And I definitely take a loss in who you got, which we'll get to later, because I was choosing Mervis or Seiya. Mervis or Seiya, and I took Mervis, and so there's absolutely there's nothing to argue.
Yeah.
I deserve a loss tonight. As much as the Cubs deserve a loss, I deserve a loss for that selection.
Yeah, I had Mervis in the hit parlay tonight. I had Morel and Bregman. I also bet Bregman to hit a home run tonight, and that I mean I guess if there's any spin zone to tonight for me is I made money, but yeah, missed it because Mervis. So. And I felt like Mervis was robbed of a hit in the was it first inning? I think he hit one to the left side real hard.
He did hit one hard earlier,
but it was like right at Bregman, so that didn't work out. But yeah, I'm not going to sit here and try and have conversation about are we worried about Mervis again? That's not a thing. I think he's starting to see the ball a lot better. But yeah, I mean, if you want to put some blame on anyone on the offense, is him just because he did leave a lot of guys on base tonight. If I'm looking it up now, I don't know how many he had, but yeah, I mean, that's just the way it goes sometimes, I guess.
Becky asked, "Is Keegan sick?" because we heard that Steele wasn't feeling well. And maybe I don't know. I haven't heard that. I don't know. Listen,
that's not something I'm going to
it's
speculate
first of all,
on.
Keegan's problems, if you want to call them that, have been going on longer than just tonight.
I mean, they were happening.
His struggles have been longer than tonight.
They were happening in spring training. Like there was the talk.
Right, he did have a nice stretch after that, like a short stretch where you're like, okay, that's the guy we need. But there were people saying, there were people in spring training worried about his velocity because it was slow to come along, and you were saying, did he pitch too much last year? What, for the first time, was that just too much? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, the spring training was a velo. Since the season started, it's been the walk rate. I mean, I said it at the beginning of the show, 15% walk rate. You can't have that out of your bullpen, especially your best. You're supposed to be one of your best bullpen arms. And then the K rate is below 20% too. And I don't know the exact number, but I bet it was higher than that last year. So I don't know, man. Like I said before we did the ads, like they got to get him right. And if that means send him to Iowa to work on some things, or if find out if he's hurt, like I don't know. I really don't know. I feel like as sad and pissed off as I am, I feel bad for the dude because he's a great dude. But like you can't have that, man. And he knows that too. He'd tell you that. I'm sure he feels awful in the clubhouse tonight. So I don't know if they were to actually do that, I don't know who they should call up to do that. And the only reason I say that is because with the way that David Ross is running the bullpen right now, he's not giving high leverage opportunities to any of the young dudes. Like we haven't seen Estrada get a high leverage opportunity. We haven't seen. Well, I mean, obviously Birdie's only had the one appearance and it didn't go well, so he's definitely going to get one. Like I don't know if they did demote him, who would enter like that role. Maybe Assad is the guy they need to bring back up because he's been much better of late. He fits right into that role. I don't know, but also they want to use Assad as like a piggyback whenever certain things happen.
That's a tough one. I don't. What is he at 2 or 3 separate options now this year? Like that's a tough one because you only get 5.
Yeah,
and however many you've used them in by mid-May. Yeah. So you have 4.5-ish months that you have to figure out, when to bring Assad back up, how long you can keep him up, when to option him back down. Like you don't have that many more to use. I don't know off the top of my head. It looks like 3 to me, 2 maybe 3. Yeah. So that's also a factor with the Assad thing too, and that's the factor with all the any bullpen guy that has an option available is that now they're limited to 5. So.
Again, I'm spitballing now. I don't know what they should do with the situation.
Gary mentioned injury options. I don't know. I don't remember if Assad was called up for injury or not. I know that the
wasn't he originally called up because of Tyone going to the IL? I thought that was why he was originally here.
To begin the year. He was opening day.
Was he on the opening day roster? Oh yeah. Okay.
But so I know that as far as like coming up for injuries. Like someone like Assad, I think it's like a 15-day or whatever the amount of time they have to be in the minors before they could be brought back up. They can skirt that if it's to replace an injured player. Gary says he doesn't know if injury like replacement options count towards that. I am not sure on that. If they don't, great. Then I guess you don't have to worry about like one more. But if they do, obviously that still counts towards the options.
I just don't.
Let me find that out.
I don't know.
Let me find that out.
I'm sitting here just trying to figure out how they're going to fix it, and I just don't know. I've seen everything suggested in the chat, from fire the manager to Morel should bat leadoff when he comes back, when Nico comes back, to Dansby should be batting 5th or 6th. Guys, I don't know what the answer is, but they've got to find a way to stop the bleeding quick.
Yeah,
because you just don't want to see this season. I know the positive people in the chat, we love you. They're saying, listen, they're still in like several games out of the wild card. Being in the wild card race shouldn't even be difficult for this team this year. Yeah. Like the rebuild should be far enough along that shouldn't even be a problem.
Absolutely.
It shouldn't even be like, hey, we could still do this. No. That is even starting to slip away from them a little bit because they're playing so poorly right now. And like I said, it's not one thing, it's many things. I I will give Collada the closer thing. He said they haven't had a closer for a long time.
I've been saying that since December.
I've never disagreed with it, and I'm still not sure it's the problem. But the problem is, in my eyes, Godfathers, that the rest of the bullpen has been faltering.
Collada says he believes that Ross is pulling names out of a hat and does not have a clue, which inspired me to maybe think about, is David Ross, should we be going back to, just a little simpler times with some of these bullpen decisions?
Magic
maybe
8 ball.
Get the 8-ball out there. Should we go with Keegan Thompson in the 9th inning? Shake it up.
That might work.
I don't know. Ask again later.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Tough times.
Rick DeHouse says Wisdom can't go 0 for 5 with runners in scoring position. I think tomorrow we'll revisit the Morel conversation too. We have an off-day podcast coming up at 1:20 on Thursday. Corey's going to join us, and I think we'll talk more about some of that stuff, like different decisions they're going to have to make this season. Morel now has, 5 homers in 8 games?
Yeah, I believe that is what Ryan tweeted
But
out.
more and more, you start to see that maybe he just doesn't have maybe it's not. Maybe he just doesn't have a position. Which
I think
I want him to find out this year. But you get some of the results that you get tonight. You get the good and the bad. Again, I'm not blaming him for the whole game, but you saw the ball kicked in center field, and it's like he's not really a center fielder. I know the Cubs have said he's more comfortable up the middle, but gotta figure something out because his bat matters.
The only positions where I actually feel like he is been very good has been at short or at second. I remember him playing some short last year, and then at second base even this year, and he even played some second last year. But obviously he ain't gonna play there when Swanson and Nico are healthy.
Yeah. No.
Now, tonight, I was fine that he wasn't playing second because I wanted to see Mastroboni get a chance, and he showed up and delivered. That's another guy that we should probably at least give some kudos to, because he might be heading back to Iowa on Friday. I hope not, for the sake of my own sanity. I hope not. But, I mean, I don't know, man. I hear everyone about Wisdom. I get it. The strikeouts are the strikeouts. But there's so much upside outside of that with him. And his defense is good too. So I don't know.
He's got 36% strikeout rate, still is at a 144 WRC plus. And I get the strikeouts, especially when it's in a situation where it's like runners in scoring position, you need the ball. You just need the ball in play kind of thing, right? Yeah. I get the frustration with that. But I think Wisdom has been far from the problem with the offense.
Right.
You're always going to have that. You're almost always going to have that guy on the roster. Like the Cubs had a lot of those guys on the roster for a while.
Now, you got another off day tomorrow. Hopefully, Bellinger is good for Friday. And you put Belly back in center. You get Nico back Friday potentially. And then basically you're wondering who's playing third. If it's based off the matchup and Wisdom doesn't match up well with whoever's pitching for the Phillies on Friday, then you could put Morel there and see what he's got. And that's where I've wanted to see him at mostly. If it's not DH, I want to see him at third. I want to see him get that chance at third to get regular appearances there if it doesn't fit Wisdom's matchup well. And when it does fit Wisdom's matchup well, then you can put Morel in the DH. Now, I know they won't DH him every time whenever Wisdom's at third, but I will say that if the team wants to win, that's what they should be doing more often than not. More often than not. Not every time, but more often than not. One of those two spots.
We're going to get to a super chat in a second. I do want to tell you about a super company. Their name's Foco. Get fitted out with the best sports gear around. Hoodies, shoes, signs, bobbleheads, and everything in between. Spring and baseball season, Aloha shirts, straw hats, polos, bags, everything you need for a game. We've got some great set decorations. Look at the Hayden Wesneski bobblehead. Don't worry. He's going to be back. Clark the Cub, we got that bobblehead too. Check out Foco.com or click the link in the description below for all non-presale items. Use the promo code CHGO for 10% off. Maybe finally coming back to Wrigley Field where you can stock up and be ready to go to a game. Maybe that will finally spark the Cubs, but the road trip is not over yet. We did have another super chat. I believe it was Fernando, Joey. Was that who?
It was Fernando.
What did our guy Fernando? He gave us $4.99. He says, they are who we always had in the back of our minds and hoped for better. Ross is not capable of putting a roster together and managing it in a game.
Well, putting the roster together is on Jed Hoyer, Fernando. But thank you, though.
Yeah.
But in so many words, he just gave, the Cubs are who we thought they are. And we let them off the hook.
Let them off.
You want to crown them? Crown them.
I would say
I will say, though, in terms of putting guys in the best spots to succeed, maybe there's some criticism in there. I'm sure there is. I'm not going to sit here and try and go through it all right now, though.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be, well, for one, every manager gets criticized when things don't go right. No matter what it is, no matter their track record, they're going to get criticized for every in game. Not that they're not deserving. Not that David Ross isn't deserving for criticism. For different things throughout the year. I don't know. I like you said, I don't want to get into like what he did right or didn't do right today because they lost. Like that's the main thing is they lost, and the bullpen management, I didn't even have that much of a problem. Maybe Keegan in the ninth isn't great, but I've seen people in the chat asking where Keegan was on Monday when they blew that game, right? Like we've seen it. So I don't know. People don't really want to get into that part of it, but there is reason for criticism. I'll say that. Like David Ross hasn't been perfect. He deserves some criticism, just like the entire team, especially for a night like tonight. Like the bullpen deserves criticism. There's going to be days when the offense doesn't execute and they deserve the criticism. Starting pitching doesn't give you what they should. They deserve criticism. Like when they lose, there's going to be criticism to go around.
We need to wrap this up tonight with positivity. So before we get to who you got, Gerard with a super chat, $20 from Gerard. Win or lose, you always keep moving on up. You are a driving force in all things Cubs. Happy birthday, Cody. And then Fernando, another super chat. More importantly, happy birthday, Cody.
I appreciate it.
See? So there we go.
Awesome.
We appreciate that. Everybody in the chat that's still hanging on, by the way.
Did we not have another ad read? Notion says that we did. So
we still got to do game time too.
Okay. I just didn't like.
No, yeah,
God damn it! I submitted the thing.
We always do two ad reads.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
Did we stop?
No, yeah, there's a game time one still.
I appreciate that we stopped to read.
You know, I was thinking
I
was doing Fubo, which sometimes Fubo when it's
is.
But you did Foco.
You want to take this ad read?
You want to do game time?
Game time who?
Game time?
I mean, I'll do.
I mean, I'll tell you, we got to buy tickets for your favorite events. You don't want it to be stressful. So, you want killer deals,
Got it.
last minute tickets, best price guarantee. You can stop stressing out. I know Cody, has been trying to get these Taylor Swift tickets for his birthday. And I'm like, listen, man, I am not made of gold. I can't get you Taylor Swift tickets.
Two friends
but with
tickets,
game time,
June 2nd.
last minute, you never know.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm not ruling it out for you yet.
Yeah. Buying tickets to your favorite events should be stressful. Game time is a fast and easy way to buy tickets for all the sports, music, comedy, and theater near you. With killer deals on last-minute tickets and their best price guarantee, you can stop stressing over tickets and start getting hyped for the fun you'll have. Like Stuckey said, I've been trying to get these tickets for Taylor Swift for my girlfriend. She is just absolutely obsessed. She is
Swiftie.
She might as well put Swiftie in her Instagram bio. It's honestly it's kind of scary, but they're very, 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 very expensive. And so on game time, we might just go stand outside Soldier Field and wait for those puppies to just come straight down to something affordable. Yep. And
I just signed up and got some credits.
Joey, did you say your birthday's June 2nd?
June number 2.
Want to go to Two Friends? We'll use game time. Get tickets.
I don't know about that. Two Friends. Maybe though.
Go. It'll be cheap.
Where are they playing?
Some
on game time. If we buy the tickets,
Field.
if we buy the tickets on game time, we could see where our seats are before we actually
Bad
go.
Bunny,
So
they here
beautiful.
anytime soon? Bad Bunny?
They? It's one person.
Bad Bunny and the fans.
Okay, fair enough.
Anyway,
hopefully, I'd go to a Bad Bunny concert.
Forget planning months in advance. Game Time has deals on tickets right up to the day of the event. The Game Time guarantee means you'll always get the best price. If you find tickets in the same section and row for less, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. It's the fastest growing ticketing app in the country for a reason. Get images of your seat before you buy, like Joey said, so you know exactly what to expect when you arrive. Buy tickets in a matter of seconds, 2 taps, and you're set. Tickets are sent directly to your phone, so you never have to dig through your email. Snag the tickets without the stress with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHGO for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem with code CHGO for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last-minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed.
All right, who you got? Who's got a shot at winning this tonight? Cody had Mastroboni. Ryan had Morel. I had Mervis. I'm out. Corey had Hap. Okay. Threw out a guy to plate, had a couple hits. Brendan had Dansby. Joey had Gomes. So realistically, who is this between for who you got tonight? Morel had a homer.
Morel and Hap, probably, I would say.
Probably Morel and Hap.
3 walks are pretty good, but
Morel had
with low expectations.
With low expectations. Very low expectations. It was a great day to take Mastroboni.
Morel 3 for 5, 2 runs. One of those hits is a home run, and he walked. He had a walk today, his first walk of the season.
Yeah. And what did Hap have?
He was 2 for 3 with a walk and 2 doubles, something like that. So Morel had more total bases. He also had the walk.
He had the air, non-air would be the only negative knock. I don't know about the throw. Like, I would say the throw is a negative, but I don't.
We didn't see it.
We couldn't see it. There was no camera work for it. Still haven't seen him throw the ball.
I'm seeing some people say Mastroboni. Francisco says Mastroboni.
I think he's the only one that said Mastroboni.
I don't think it's spelled right, but that's all right.
That's whatever.
No fault of yours. I can't spell either.
Yeah.
I'm going to say it's Morel, I think. That's just me. And Corey's not here to defend
Joey,
it,
what do you think?
It's not Gomes.
It's not Gomes. That's correct.
Yeah.
Cody, who did you have?
I had Mastroboni.
Yeah, it's always tough for me to pick against Mastroboni, you know.
3 walks, 1 for 2, and the
3
one time
walks,
he didn't.
He also made a beautiful play in the 9th with the game on the line, force out at home.
Yeah. And he had a diving play to make an out as well.
Arb says Morel.
And the one out he made was a fly out to the warning track.
Vanilla Chill said realistically it's Morel.
I'm sorry.
It might be Morel.
I think it is.
It's Morel, I think.
Thank you. Finally, I stopped getting
Mariano
screwed.
says downgraded Ross to a 1985 rundown Tahoe.
For $199. $199. Thank you.
Nathan says, I mean, it is Cody's birthday. I will admit that, like, 3 walks is, if you're going to pick Mastroboni, 3 walks is a pretty good game, but the other guy hit a home run.
Yeah. He had a hit, too, and his hit was a double. All right? So he had a double and 3 walks, and he had great defense.
On your birthday?
And force out at home in the 9th.
Great defense, a double, and 3 walks, baby.
Man. I'm not getting screwed today. Morel won.
Ryan doesn't give a shit whose birthday it is. He's
I don't remember this one. It's his birthday.
Well, okay, to be fair, there's a few people on this panel, not me, but there's a few people on this panel whose birthdays aren't during the season, so they can't win who you got on their birthday.
That's
Come
me.
On. Well, Corey.
You should have told your parents.
I don't remember when Ryan's birthday is. It's Ryan's birthday's towards the postseason, I believe. Yep, during Bears season.
Yep.
He likes to spend his birthdays in the basement at
retroactive,
Mother's.
Birthday win?
Sure.
I like that.
Right.
I just want everyone in the chat to know that y'all saying Mastroboni, y'all mean a lot. Okay.
Cody did
P.
not
Will
get the
Jr. says
win, but he did get more super chats than the rest of us.
Yeah. P. Will Jr. says Matt Booger. I think that means Mastroboni. Oh, there you go. He fixed it.
Fuss Fix is going to watch the next game in a thong for the win.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of people are talking about potentially what they're going to do to flip the vibes of the team. You know,
change the luck.
Yep, exactly.
All right.
So I'm going to wear shorts. We don't have a show on Friday, but on Monday I'm wearing shorts
all day tomorrow.
Yeah, shorts tomorrow for the off day to get the vibes right again, and then I'm wearing shorts the rest of the year. I ain't wearing these sweatpants in this studio for a very, very, very long time.
We're going to find a way to fix the Cubs at 1:20 on Thursday. I hope you'll join us for the off day podcast. I'll be there. Ryan will be there. Cody will be there. Corey will be there. We may or may not be wearing pants. That all depends. We're all at home. Might not even be able to tell.
Oh, yeah, we won't be in here tomorrow. All right. We'll be
doing it from home. The Demendo Dukes. Thanks for checking out the CHGO Cubs podcast presented by DraftKings, America's top-rated sportsbook. Download the app. Use the promo code CHGO when you sign up. Tough loss. Cubs blow a 6-1 lead, get swept by the Astros, 5 straight losses, but we have still 160 people in the live chat hanging with us.
Appreciate y'all.
We're in it together.
Hit the like button on your way out. We got 88.
Oh, yeah.
We had
almost at 100.
Yeah.
For Cody's birthday, hit the button on the way out. The like button. Until tomorrow at 1:20. Fly the W.